I'm Jerry from Jerry's Landscape. We do irrigation, tree removal, landscaping. We pretty much do it all. You know, I can landscape the heck out of a property. That's never really been a problem for me. It's gotta go. I've had a tough time with accounting, with my bookkeeping, but then I came up with this amazing system that has really been a game changer for me. This side of the dash here, this is all the invoices. This side of the dash is going to be expenses. Then I've got any miscellaneous receipts or anything like that goes in the back seat. Then of course anything tax related, you know, I don't even know what half that stuff is, but anything from ERS, that's going to go right here on the passenger side floorboard. I've even got a place for customer complaints. right out here. I'm kidding. Actually, it's not really the best to even open the windows at all. Blow everything around. Is it a perfect system? No. I can't use the defrost in my truck, which sucks. You know, having passengers, that doesn't always work out so well. But it's a small price to pay. We're meticulous. Every transaction matters, period. Okay? I mean, the system, that's what I love about it. It's virtually foolproof. Well,
get ready to enter the Drive Time Show.
We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here.
We started from the bottom, now we're on the top. Teaching you the systems to get what we got. Colin Dixon's on the hooks, I break down the books. Z's bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of five, that's why I'm alive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the C&Z up on your radio. And now 3, 2, 1, here we go.
We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom and we'll show you how to get here.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things we picked up when we picked up the Thrive 15 team was an entire team. You want an SEO guy that knows things about search engine optimization? Got it. You got a website guy that's built big websites like Garth Brooks' website? Awesome, we have it. He's coming in. If I had to pay for that on my own, outside of Thrive 15, there's just no way. For us, one of our most immediate needs when I got connected with Clay was technology. We had a website, but I had a website in Tulsa, our other partner had a website in Colorado. They did everything from doing a drone video where they flew over all of our markets with a drone. They integrated that into our site. They built every single thing that I think of, they do. We do a podcast. If I was gonna produce my own podcast, there's no, I mean, that alone, just that alone would be what I pay Thrive, just for that. But then if you add the fact that I've got, if I need a business card design, if I need a website build, if I need this, if I need that, I know what I would pay for that. If I had to go a la carte, I feel guilty sometimes, like I don't probably write a big enough check for the value that I get. I think there's a lot of entrepreneurs that have ideas what they want to do with their business and how they want to grow and what market they want to be in and how they can increase production and do all this. But it's not about having 4,000 ideas. It's about having 12 and executing them 4,000 times. That's the trick, in my opinion, and that's where Thrive's value comes in. I feel like I have my own staff, my own, like, I don't know, 20-person team that when I need something, I just go to them and it happens.
Thrive Nation, on today's show, we're going to walk you through specifically what it takes to build a super successful company. And I think what happens is a lot of times we get excited about a new idea or a new marketing strategy or a new vision for the future. And then we lose track of the important things we need to do on a daily basis, because diligence really is the difference maker. So today we're going to talk about OxyFresh franchises, but I don't care whether you buy an OxyFresh franchise or a Tip Top Canine franchise, or you own your own business, or you buy a different kind of franchise. You're going to have to master doing certain key performance indicators. You have to measure and master these certain key performance indicators day after day after day. You've got to follow the systems that have been proven to work. And if you follow the systems that have been proven to work, you will have success. And that's really the purpose of buying a franchise. You're buying a turnkey, proven business model. So Matt Klein, welcome to the Thrive Time Show. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
So Matt, if someone buys an OxyFresh franchise from you, what are the things somebody has to do on a daily basis? If someone goes to oxyfresh.com, They schedule a free consultation with you guys. They do the initial phone call. They do the discovery day in Denver. They go through the process. They put up $50,000. They buy their own location. What does somebody have to do on a daily basis to be a successful OxyFresh franchise owner?
Yeah, well, they've got to be engaged, right? They got to be seeing where they rank online on Google so they can put some daily tasks so they can move up the chain. They've got to be looking at their numbers, where are their jobs coming from? Where is their marketing dollar going? Where is their best return on investment on those dollars that are spent? They've got to be checking in with their employees, making sure that they are doing what they need, have all the resources they need to be successful. They've got the job down pat. That takes a little bit of time to get that. They need to be making sure that as they go and meet their goals, whether it's a financial goal or it's a certain amount of job goal, like that's not just going to happen by sitting there. You got to put some daily duties in charge of either yourself or your employees that are working for you. I mean, this is a living organism that needs attention. It needs someone really running it. It's got to be steered in the right direction, whether it's people helping you or you're doing it yourself. I mean, you could open a business and if you do nothing, it'll just sit there and do nothing, right? So, I mean, my day is very simple. I get up, I do my personal stuff. I look at all my Google pages, see where I'm ranking. I see if there needs to be attention paid to anyone certain. I look at all my employees' customer satisfaction scores. I look to see where all my marketing came for yesterday, right? Because it's in a 24-hour increment. I see what my day looks like and see if I can be more efficient with my schedule. And then essentially I'll start my day after that.
Now, let's get into this for a second. James, you work here at the office, and we have every day people reach out to buy a ticket to come to our conferences. And you call and text and email people all day.
Yes, sir.
So we have a conference coming up here. We're going to be leaving here this week, and we'll have about 6,000 people that are going to be there. I would say 1,000 of them are vendors or vendor-related people, media, that kind of thing. And then 5,000 are ticket holders. Of those 5,000, how many have you sold a ticket to?
Probably 3,000.
Okay.
Maybe more.
Maybe more. Now, again, every day you get to work at about 6:50. Am I correct?
That's right.
You walk in this door. What's the first thing you do every time?
I come in and I give you a fist bump.
Okay, there you go. And then you start doing what?
I start making calls.
And when you call people, why do you have to call them and text them? Why can't you just call them and text them one time? Why do you have to call the same people and text the same people over and over and over, even though they are requesting a ticket? Like they are reaching out to us to attend a conference. Why do you have to call, text, and email people over and over and over?
Well, sometimes people are sleeping, they're eating breakfast, they're eating lunch, they're at work, they're at a family event. They're just doing something where they just don't have that time availability to talk.
When you look at the leads, what's the most number of times we've called a lead before they bought a ticket?
I've called someone like 35 times and they picked up and they're like, oh my goodness, I'm so happy that you just kept calling me and calling me.
It is a thing though, seriously. So again, you do it over and over and over. And Matt, I think sometimes people process success as an event.
Yeah.
They look at success as an event and not an ongoing process. They look at success as, okay, I'm going to buy a franchise. Now I'll be successful. Okay, I'm gonna buy a book on real estate investment. Now I will be successful. I'm going to get married. Now it's going to go great. I don't think people look at it as it's the daily tending of the garden, the pulling of the weeds, the daily discipline, the daily diligence. Can you maybe explain the difference between what an event is versus a process? Because I think somebody out there thinks that the work is buying the franchise. They don't understand that the work is the daily process. Kind of explain that for everybody out there.
Yeah, it's very true. I get a lot of people that say, I can't wait until I grow my business to a point where I don't have to market anymore. And that's a clear indication they don't understand that the marketing will never stop. Your goal is to make more money on every dollar spent as you become better and better at a business. But I just got off the phone call with a great franchisee who had lost sight a little bit. So it's a perfect question, perfect timing. Bought a franchise, did really good, bought an existing franchise neighbor. He had his Google pages up and operating pretty good, but we just looked at, he hasn't gotten a Google review on one of his Google pages for 4 months, right? And so he did exactly that. He bought it, he let it sit there. He goes, I'm good. I bought the franchise. It's running, it's doing great. But his inactivity in that business has created his growth to go the opposite of good, right? And so just like you're saying, like he's not weeding the garden. He's not paying attention to detail. He bought that and just let that sucker sit, right? He let all of his competition kind of creep up into him. So as he does that, he was ranked number 1 on Google. And after a month or two, he's ranked number 2 on Google. And after 3 or 4 months, he's ranked on 3 on Google. Now he's dropped out. And that took it it took him that long to say, okay, something's going wrong. Like for me, if I drop to 1, I'm freaking out and I'm going, you guys better get me more reviews over here right now.
Right.
And because, if it doesn't burn your bridges to see you slipping down, then I can't help you. But he did. And all we had to do is get him back engaged, right? You cannot stop as a small business because somebody else absolutely is continuing down that road, right? They're going to catch up to you if you allow that to happen. And so, perfect question.
I want to dial into this. This is powerful. This is powerful stuff. So when you, you own 2 locations of OxyFresh, correct? Is that right? You own 2?
I do.
Okay. So if I go and I type in carpet cleaning quotes into Google, I want to point this out. I'm gonna do carpet cleaning quotes, and I scroll down. An OxyFresh right here has the most reviews of any service company on the planet, pretty much at this point. I mean, you guys are. This is nationwide. Now, let's just say that, and I'm going to just do an example. Okay, let's say that I'm doing a search for, and again, we're switching industries because I want to just teach the principle. Okay, so we're searching for dog training, Carrollton. Okay, Carrollton. When people look at the search results and somebody has, let's say, 308 reviews, which is a good number, and somebody else has 992 and someone else has 719, who's getting those calls, Matt? Because you've been doing this. I mean, you own your own locations of OxyFresh, but you also help to award franchises at OxyFresh. Who's getting the call and why? Kind of break down the science of it.
Yeah, well, let me let you do something. So go up into your search engine right there and put carpet cleaning Boulder, Colorado.
Carpet cleaning Boulder, Colorado. Okay.
Yep. So you go down there. So you see 229 right there.
Yep.
So me and Steve have been doing this game here for the last 7 years. All right. And so Steve goes and gets more reviews than I get more reviews, and Steve gets more reviews than I get more reviews. Right. And so Steve and I have been doing this for a long time. But what Steve and I have been able to do is by competing basically with each other. I've never met Steve, but I know he knows who I am and I know who he is. Right. Because we're always at the top here. But in doing that with Steve, we've left our competition in the dust. Right. So here's one other thing. So go and do the same thing, but just go 20 minutes down the road, Clay, and do carpet cleaning Erie, Colorado. Erie,
ERIE.
Yep.
Colorado. Okay, got it. Yep.
Okay, so now you see OxyFresh up top there at the ads, and then you see OxyFresh again. What do you not see from this one that you saw from the last one? You don't see Steve anymore, do you?
Yeah, Steve. Well, I'll tell you this, and I want to pull this up here because I don't know that a lot of people know who Steve is. I'm going to see if you can identify this Steve. Let me pull it up 1 second here. Let me get it.
He's a good business person, so this is not a knock on Steve.
No, that's right. Is this Steve?
It absolutely could be Steve. I've never met him personally.
Okay, I just want to. We don't know. He's probably. It's probably. I don't know. Let me just type in Steve, and see. Have you ever met Steve?
Oh, it's actually Steve Harvey.
Oh, okay. No, but seriously. So I want to get your thoughts on this, though. Seriously, because you, in one Google search result, you've got clearly the most reviews. And in the other one, you're number 2. How does it impact you if you're number 3 in a search listing? Like you're number 4? I mean, so
yeah, well, 3 and 4 is a big one. If you're number 3, technically you've gotten yourself to a place of now you're playing in the ball game. You're off the bench.
Okay.
If you get to number 4, the only way for your consumers to find you is by clicking a button that says, hey, I'm not good enough to be in the list of top performing companies.
Oh.
Please click that list to see the other companies that haven't done enough yet to get in the top 3, which drastically reduces your ability to be seen, right? Organically, if you go up a little bit further, just on this page, you can see OxyFresh here and then OxyFresh here. I show up twice in one screenshot.
Now let's talk about this for a second. You got to always hire people. You're not done with it. I mean, every day, James, you come in about 6:50. What do?
I make calls.
Oh, I mean, it's nonstop.
And
every day you do it. And there are certain people that they have their weird little things they do. They have their weird little kind of rituals they do that don't help make sales.
Right.
Like some people will sit down, they go. You see this?
I do.
As though it's a physical thing. And then they go. And they just take the.
That's after 2 or 3 trips to the bathroom, by the way.
I'm getting into it here. Okay, they kind of. Then they sit down. Email, just email. Now, James, on Sunday, we have spam leads that come in, and we have real leads that come in all the time to request tickets for our events all the time. And what you do is you print what?
I print them all out.
You do why?
It's just faster for me to print them. I call them. It's a 30-second call. If it's BS, I know it, and I just toss it in the trash.
Right, but you just print them out.
Yeah.
Now it is possible that you'll spend like most of your day sorting, going, "Is this a real lead? Is this look real? Does that look real?" I mean, it's a thing.
It's a thing.
And then it's like overanalyzing, like, well, because this lead came in and it appears to have a phone number in, I don't know what area code. Let me look it up. Oh, okay, because their phone number looks like it's Florida. I won't call them till I'll call them first because that's Florida. But that one appears to be California, so I'll wait to call them till noon. Did you see this kind of stuff happening?
Yeah, and you know what? It's funny because I call people. It'll be like 5 a.m, and they're like, "Oh, I just woke up."
But you don't care.
No,
And I don't care. And we don't care. You know why? Because we care about success. Matt, I just want to get your thoughts about this idea. There's a lot of business owners that they get to work. They spend 3 hours on email. They spend 2 hours, going to the bathroom back and forth. They go out for a sandwich wrap. They stop by QT to get a snack wrap. They call their mom, call their cousin, hop on Facebook, argue with somebody about, the gravitational pull of the earth on Telegram or Facebook or Twitter. Then they start talking about Kyrie Irving and they start talking about flat earth and they go, and then their day's done every day. I'd love to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, I've had jobs where I was pretty bored. And if you have a life where you go to work and you're bored, I would say change your job immediately, right? You should have something where when you get there, you have purpose. You're trying to get goals done. That's one thing that's great about being a business owner is that no one else is going to do it for you, right?
Yep.
Your actual daily duties will have an impact on your paycheck and the happiness of your life and your employees and your family, all of that. So, I would implore anyone that's bored, certainly look into a franchise because you won't be bored. And also if you're finding things to do that are not going to help you grow, either change your behavior or your life completely, because it's going to get tough to be successful if you're just doing things for no reason.
Now, Matt, if people go to the thrivetimeshow.com/oxyfresh, a couple things you can do, folks. If you would like to, make it awkward, you can fill out the form. And then when the team at Oxyfresh calls you, you could go, I'd like to talk to Matt about a rash. So if you use promo code RASH and they say, well, the team will say, how can I help you? And if you'll say, I would like to talk to Matt about a rash, that way they'll know that you
I'll talk to you about a rash. You want?
But seriously, you could, Matt, you're willing to talk to about almost anything. I mean, you're willing to answer any of their questions that they have.
Yeah.
And if they go to thrivetimeshow.com/oxyfresh, that's where it starts. And people have to take action. What would be, walk us through, what is the first step someone needs to take if they want to buy an Oxyfresh franchise?
Yeah, it's really important. I mean, people think that they're like going to have to invest like hours and hours and hours and all this stuff. But to explore a franchise, you just have to start the conversation. And I think most people in their current life, they don't actually know that this is an option for them. They don't know that you can have a business running on the side of your job or your career, or you can change that or go cold turkey. So just explore, go on, fill out the lead. You're going to talk to either myself, Mike, or Andy, who all own franchises with Oxyfresh and work on my team. And they're going to ask some simple questions like, why are you doing this? What's got you going down this road? Like, what are you currently doing now? What are some of your goals? What's your time commitments right now, right? We want to understand like what's going to drive you down the road to make this decision. And it could be money. It could be time freedom. It could be that you just hate your boss, whatever that is. Every conversation I have with something is completely different. And so we're going to go through that evaluation, make sure that your goals line up with what we're capable of doing here at Oxyfresh. And then we're going to get right into it after that. We're going to schedule calls, screen shares on marketing, individual territories, who you're going to be competing with, what we do for you as a franchise, what you need to do for yourself, right? What the expectations for income and return on investment is going to be, right? Technology, marketing, scheduling center. We're going to go through the entire ecosystem of Oxyfresh to see if you will fit in this mold to be successful, and to see if this business will fit into your life for you to hit some of those goals. So it's a full evaluation. Some people go quick, some people go fast. Longest I've ever had is 2 years. So it's just a process.
I encourage everybody to go to thrivetimeshow.com/oxyfresh. How much does it cost to buy an Oxyfresh? Is it $500,000, $3 million? Does it cost $2 million to buy a McDonald's? A lot of franchises cost $2 million or $3 million or $1 million, or some of them require $500,000. Some even require you have a $2 million net worth just to buy one. And someone says, Clay, you're exaggerating. Someone says, okay, let me just show you an example. So if someone says I'm exaggerating, and I love the paranoia and the lack of trust. I like that. So we type in Floyd's buy a franchise. This is a hair chain that's Floyd's. They cut hair. for dudes primarily. We go look here and they go, well, want to buy a franchise. Look here. Come on. And we look at Floyd's. Okay. This is what it takes to get started. You got to have a minimum of 500 grand laying around, $500,000 of liquidity, 500,000. Got to have a minimum net worth of $1.5 million. You got to have 5 years of multi-unit management experience. And, it costs you about $700,000 to $364,000 to get started. Matt, how much money does it cost to buy an OxyFresh?
Roll up to that right bubble at the top.
Right there?
Take $100 off of that, and that's our franchise fee, mainly because we do not have real estate. You do not need a building, brick and mortar, nothing. So for $44,900, you're going to get your protected territory, all the equipment. You're going to get 3 months worth of product, 7-year agreement. And I'm going to fly you out to Colorado to get training.
Matt, I think buying an OxyFresh is something that, again, the whole purpose of it is to buy a vehicle that creates time freedom and financial freedom for less money than it would cost to buy a vehicle. A typical new Suburban's $100,000, $80,000, something like that. Matt, I'll give you the final word. Someone's out there is thinking about filling out the form right now. Help us, help our listeners out there. We want to make sure everybody gets that final bit of little push, a little encouragement that you want to give. And what's the final word you want to share with our listeners, sir?
Yeah, if you're completely content with your life, don't call. But if you have some worries about maybe your financial future, or you just want to change what's currently going on in your life structure, the time commitments that you currently have, it's not going to happen without you getting on the horn and having conversations with business owners. I am one of them. I'd be happy to have a conversation, just explore. If nothing else, we'll figure out that you got bad credit and we'll fix it. And or you'll know for the next time you go down this road what you need to be and what position you need to be to go down a franchise. So a lot of people believe that you can't do it if you're in a current situation. Maybe you have a job, but I've always maintained a job and run the franchise on the side. So don't assume anything. Have the conversation. We might open up some options for you that you really didn't think were out there.
Matt, you're a beautiful man. You missed your calling as a male model, but you found success with an OxyFresh. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, guys. See you.
Bye.
Sneaks.
Yeah, boss. Yeah.
I need you to get me Clay Clark.
All right, yeah.
Right now.
Do it. Boom, I'm gonna do it.
He disappoints me.
I know, it's like boom. I just gotta go get him right now. I'm gonna do it. I'm like, I know a guy. I am the guy. I do the guy.
Sneaks.
Boom.
Shut your face. I don't think you meant what you just said.
What?
Now let's go get Clay Clark.
Okay.
Right here. I want to wait here.
I will do it. I go do it right now.
I want to talk to him right now. He disappoints me.
Boom. I go get him right now.
Just go and get him.
Boom. This is
Quit talking about going and getting him, and just get him. Surrounded by idiots. I just want to talk to a person that has a sound mind. Please.
So Smalls, Sneaks said you wanted to see me. What's up?
At this very moment, I'm very disappointed in you. You have failed to book 2 of the world's top 5 business coaches.
Well, quick note. Chet Holmes, who wrote the best-selling book, The Ultimate Sales Machine.
I know.
Who was one of the best business coaches of all time. He has died.
You should have booked him.
And Bill Campbell.
Should have booked him.
Who was the business coach for Steve Jobs. And the good folks that started Google, Larry and Sergey.
I know.
Bill Campbell is dead.
Excuses.
So Bill Campbell is dead.
Excuses.
And Chet Holmes is dead. So it's not actually possible
Excuses.
to interview either one of them.
Excuses.
They're not even alive.
Excuses.
They were dead.
I wanted excuses.
Okay.
I would have
What?
wanted excuses.
That doesn't make any sense.
So there are only 2 other business coaches I want you to interview. I want you to interview Michael Gerber.
I just did.
Best-selling author of the E-Myth book series.
I just interviewed him last week.
And I want you to interview
He was on the show.
the best-selling author of the book Traction, Gino Wickman.
I will do
On the podcast. Gino Wickman, I want him on the podcast. I want him on the podcast now. Stat.
Listen, just because you cue up mafia music and sound like that doesn't mean that you're my boss. I met you for the first time last week at the Italian restaurant after they finally lifted the COVID-19 restrictions and allowed you to serve as a bartender again for the first time.
Book him.
Calm down. I'm going to get Gino Wickman booked on the show. It's going to be great. He's going to love it. I promise you it's going to happen.
As the godfather of the bar
Really?
that you visited since the reopening, I
Sure.
with the power
What power?
bestowed upon me, do hereby declare
Sure.
that I want to hear audio confirmation
Right.
that Gino Wickman did, in fact, love his appearance on the Thrive Time show. Or I'm going to
You're a bartender.
no longer serve you a beverage.
You are something else, man. I mean, it is so good. Holy cow, man. There were belly laughs going on during that one.
Get ready to enter the Thrive Time Show.
We started from the bottom, now we hit. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. We started from the bottom, now we hit. We started from the bottom, now we hit.
We started from the bottom, now we're on the top. Teaching you the systems to get what we got. Colin Dixon's on the hooks, I break down the books. Z's bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of 5, that's why I'm alive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the C&Z up on your radio. And now 3, 2, 1, here we go.
We started from the bottom, now we hit.
Yes, 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 and yes, Dr. Z, it's always ecstasy when you are next to me, but today's show, there's something super going on today's show.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You see, Z, years ago, you invested in a bank. You invested in a bank.
Bought
and
a bank with some buddies, yeah.
You bought a bank with some buddies, and the bank was called Regent Bank.
This is true.
And I was sitting down with one of your banking buddies, as banking buddies often do. You guys are milling around the lobby looking for free suckers and, stuff like that.
Toasters that weren't handed out.
That's
whatever.
right.
You
Just
can
free
grab a hold
stuff,
of.
free
Sure,
popcorn, whatever.
Sure.
I'm there, and I'm talking to your partner, Sean Copeland.
Oh, yes.
Who was, I believe, CEO of
yeah.
Regent Bank
Yes.
and the Secretary of Commerce for the state of Oklahoma.
I know. He's kind
And
of a
I
big
said,
deal now.
Sean, in this vast lobby of Regent Bank, and in your vast office, and in just in all the things all the resources for entrepreneurial education that you have at your disposal, all the resources you have, what is the number one book that you would recommend to me? And Sean says, Traction by Gino Wickman. And I thought to myself, I should write that down. Then you and I traveled to Oklahoma City, where we met Peesh Patel, who
Yes.
built a huge company called Digital Tutors, which he sold
yeah.
for millions and millions of dollars. And you and I, we asked him, we said, Peesh, we were at Charleston's.
Yes.
And we said, Peesh, what book should we be reading? And he says, you should be reading Traction by Gino Wickman. And so now, without any further ado, Gino Wickman, welcome on to the Thrive Time Show. How are you, sir?
I am great. What a great opening, you guys. And be still my heart on that story. When you share that story about the book, I'm reminded of the 31 times I got turned down by publishers for that book. So that's really awesome to hear.
Well, let's talk about this here. You have this idea that's been in your soul for a while. It's this concept of the entrepreneurial leap. Do you have what it takes to be an entrepreneur? When did you first start having this idea? When did you start wrestling with this idea that would later manifest itself in the book form?
It was exactly 12 years ago when I was 40 years old and building EOS worldwide. And I said, when I turn 50, I'm shifting my energy to the front end of the entrepreneurial journey. And I'm going to help entrepreneurs in the making get a huge jump start on taking their entrepreneurial leaps.
That's awesome. I think I teared up a little bit there.
So tell us
awesome.
Tell us the title of your new book as Z tries to get it back together here emotionally.
The book is called Entrepreneurial Leap. Do you have what it takes to become an entrepreneur?
Okay, now I have actually gone through your book, and I have a lot of notes here. And if it's okay, I would like to read out a few of the essential traits that are in the book. I certainly won't share all of the traits that are in the book. I'm the kind of guy, I'm going to share just enough to make our listeners get to a place where they can't stand it.
They can't. They're going to get you're going to let them get their beaks wet. Is what you're going to do.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer. I give them just enough content. They're going to say, I want to come back. I want to buy
the rest of it.
So here we go. Essential trait number 1, you said here, the visionary, ideas, connect the dots, the sixth sense. When we're talking about the 6 essential traits of an entrepreneur, talk to me about this essential trait number 1, the visionary.
Yeah, and so that is a trait that you are absolutely born with, as are all the other 6 traits. It's a very debatable topic, but somebody that has this trait in them, they just see the world a different way than most people. Their brain is always working, and as you said, they connect the dots, and so they're seeing all these moving parts in the world, and they just put those dots together. They have this sixth sense. They're able to see around corners. And again, so they just put things together and come up with great ideas that ultimately manifest into businesses that make a nice impact on the world.
They don't see dead people, do they? Or is that a different?
That's
sixth
a
sense?
different kind of
That's
sense.
different.
Different kind of.
That's a different sixth sense.
Okay, I wasn't sure,
See,
Gino. I didn't know. I mean,
Now, Gino, I have a sixth sense. I've had a lot of success in business, and I see patterns. And this is not a political show. And I'm gonna throw out an idea, Z, to you. And
Okay.
Gino's not saying this. I'm saying this.
well, yeah.
I've noticed that if you want to go to a large gathering of people right now, you have to bring a you have to bring a brick.
You have to bring a brick.
We
Yes.
can, and we continue. Okay.
Or a bat.
Or a bat, or just have a protest that's peaceful. But you have
There
to
you go.
protest. You can't go to. Can you go to a restaurant yet? Can you do restaurants yet in Michigan right now? Can you do that?
Literally yesterday.
Oh,
Thank goodness.
yes.
They just opened.
Yes. Yes.
Woo!
Yes.
Get your burger and
Yes.
fries.
I want to hug somebody. I want to do it. Okay.
Go Lions.
Okay, so here we go. Now, essential trait number 2, passionate. You got to be passionate for your products, your service. You have a strong belief to fill a void. Talk to me about this passion, because I see a lot of people that want to be an entrepreneur, but there's no passion there. Talk to
they're
me
a
about this,
wantrepreneur?
Gino. Talk to me about this passion.
Yeah, well, sadly, it's just not going to happen if you don't have passion. So typically, again, that passion, as you said, is around that entrepreneur's thing, whatever that thing is, the dent they want to put in the universe, the product, the service, the void they want to fill. And so they have this undying passion that as they keep getting their ass kicked and knocked down for 10 years as they're building what they're building, they just keep getting up. And the only thing that's ever going to get you up that many times is that incredible passion for what you want to do in the world.
Now, Gino, I don't know if you would agree with this. I have made a list of the 8 traits to be an unsuccessful entrepreneur, okay? And I'll just read off a few of them. One is have no vision.
No
2
vision.
is have no passion at all. None.
None.
Zero.
Zero.
And then I'm going to skip through. I have one more final tip I'm going to queue up. This is a tip for being not successful as an entrepreneur. Here we go.
Probably my best tip is tip number 8. Always keep bags of your own poop. Collect it throughout your stay and just have it ready.
Would you agree with that? Is that a pro tip for not being a pro entrepreneur? Gino, do you agree with that?
I'm going to plead the fifth on that, but
Okay.
I wouldn't recommend it.
Gino, I've got a question
I've
for
been
you.
trying for a few weeks.
There's so many people that come up to us and they say, listen, we want to be an entrepreneur. We love your show. We love what you're doing. Rah, rah, rah. And then how would someone do what are some questions someone can ask themselves that they would know whether they have passion or not? Because you ask everybody, most people go like, well, of course I got passion.
I got passion.
I got passion.
Well,
I mean,
it's
every
like bull. I
Saturday,
got so much passion.
Saturday night there at the house, we got a little passion going. I mean, what are you talking about? So, do you have perfect example in the intro or before the show started, you were talking about 31 times you've been rejected by your first book, Traction,
31
which puts you on
times.
the map, which is huge.
It's more than 30.
And so that's a definition of passion. You had to go to your 30s. I mean, how many people would have given up after 10?
Most
or
people.
15?
Most people
20,
would have given up. Yeah.
25.
Most people would have given up.
Most people. And so what are some other little things you have seen that kind of help define passion? Because I think a lot of people think they want to be an entrepreneur, but they don't really have their head wrapped around whether they have the right stuff or not. Does that make sense?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'll give you a couple of thoughts. I'll just kind of riff a little bit, and in here will be a few nuggets. And so, first of all, it's what gets your blood pumping.
Okay.
What gets you out of bed every morning? What is the dent you want to put in the universe? What is the legacy you want to leave? And not everyone has an answer to that. So I would suggest that, most people aren't passionate. And I'll split the difference and say half are and half aren't.
Okay.
But when you ask that series of questions and make that series of statements that I made, half the world's looking at you scratching their head. There's just really nothing they're totally passionate about. With that said, it doesn't always have to be necessarily business focused, but we're talking about entrepreneurs. So there are people that are passionate about sports, and maybe they'll never start a business around that. That's a whole different ball game than this ballpark that we're in around entrepreneurship.
Good point.
Now, you point out the essential trait number 3 is you have to be a problem solver. You have to create a problem. Problem solving, setbacks, optimist. I mean, Z, when you guys took over Regent Bank, which at the time when you guys bought it, it was called the Bank of Nowata.
They had just rebranded right before we bought it.
Okay.
As a matter of fact.
And all banks pretty much lend money from the government. Am I correct? Basically, at the end of the day, banks rent money to people.
Correct. Well, yeah, that's one way to say it.
Oversimplified, though.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? You get some money from the FDIC, you rent the money to other people, whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
So there's a lot of regulations there. And there's a lot of bankers I run into say you just can't grow a bank in today's economy. Now that was you guys bought the bank, headed right after you bought the bank, the recession happened.
Yeah, good timing.
Right.
That's a not joke.
But a lot of people would have just given up, Z. So I want to get Gino's take on this. Gino, I want to get your take on this. Problem solvers. I see a lot of people that aren't entrepreneurs. They get overwhelmed by problems and they just go cry. Where entrepreneurs are inspired to take action. Talk to me about the problem-solving trait that you write about in your book.
Yeah, and you described it pretty darn good there. And remember, we're talking about traits that you're born with. And so as your listeners, and they're thinking, they're scanning their body right now with each one of these traits we're talking about and saying, am I a problem solver? Do I have this trait? Well, you just have to look at your life and look at your history. And the way you'll know this is, have you always been kind of a creative problem solver? Do you tend to see solutions where other people are seeing problems? Do you love solving problems? When you get hit with a setback, do you tend to lean into it? Are you more of an optimist by nature? And if all of those things are yes, 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 as you look back with every little bump and hurdle you've run into, then odds are you are probably a problem solver and you probably have this trait.
Z, I see a lot of people that are overwhelmed by problems. At the optometry clinic, we've been dealing with the shutdown.
Yep.
You've been dealing with, we actually had a peaceful protest where I would say 85% of the people that I could tell seemed to be very peaceful. Then you had 15%. You had the Yahoo friends that showed up right in front of your optometry clinic.
I know we were all over the news.
Right in front of the mall. The news was out
epicenter.
there.
Yeah.
It was crazy. How do you process solving problems? Do you tend to hide a lot? Do you jump right into solving problems? How do you handle it?
Oh, I love solving problems. I think that Gino, when Gino was talking, he was like reading my mail. That obviously, but you have to have that thing of, and that's what bothers me right now with the current status. Is so many people are talking about the problem. And every time I hear that, I just want to scream at him and go, what's the solution? What's your solution? How are you going to fix it? What are you suggesting? We get it. We have a problem. Okay, enough. Now let's work on solutions. And so
I have a pro tip. You have a pro tip?
Okay.
Here's my pro tip. If we lay on the train tracks and wait for the train and to see if it runs us over,
yeah,
I have the hypothesis. I have the belief that we'll probably get hit by the train. And I believe if we keep our economy shut down, the economy will probably stay shut down.
But
this is my take. This is my pro tip.
This just in.
So I think we should hit the open button, but that is my controversial take on that, Z.
Well, I think
let me throw one more thing in the mix.
Yeah, go for it.
This will be a great indicator as to whether your listener has this trait. And so I'm thinking of the leadership teams I work with, 3 to 7 people running a company. We're locked in the room. Well, my very entrepreneurial leadership teams, when we're in that full day session and they're staring at that whiteboard of 40 issues, they get motivated, energized, and just attack that list.
Oh, yeah.
Where my teams that are not entrepreneurial, they look at that list of issues and the energy goes out of the room and they're exhausted and they're scared. And so when you get energized looking at a list of issues, pretty good sign that you're a problem solver.
There you go.
Z, I tell you what, I was overwhelmed. I was looking at the questions for today's show that we put together.
Yeah.
Because, one, when I read Gino Wickman's book, I recognized there's two things were happening. One, he is smarter than I am. 2, I recognized that I probably need to stop talking into the box fan, and I probably need to start writing some questions as a result of reading this great book.
Well, you see, that's why you're a problem solver.
I was just sitting there looking into that fan.
It took you a little while to get going, but you finally.
I was overwhelmed.
You geared down, though, and you got her done.
I read the book. I went through it. Okay, so we talk about entrepreneur, the essential trait number 5 of being an entrepreneur.
Did we skip 4?
Well, I'm skipping. See, come on.
We can't give them all to him.
I can't give them all away.
I can't.
Fine, I'll skip number 5 and I'll move to essential trait number 6. I'll do that.
Wow. Oh, my gosh. I'm sorry.
Essential trait number 6.
Thrivers.
Risk taker. Don't freeze. Rebellious. Willing to fail. What are you talking about, Mr. Gino Wickman?
Yeah, and so this one is a good one from a standpoint of when we're talking entrepreneurship and someone sees this trait, they're thinking that the risk we're talking about is the risk of starting a business, of taking the entrepreneurial leap, when, truth be told, that's one of 1,000 risks you're going to take over the next 10 years building your company. And so risk-taking is the fact that you don't freeze when it comes time to make a tough decision. And so being an entrepreneur is all about tough decisions every day, every week, every month, every year. and you lean into that decision. You make that tough call. A risk taker tends to be rebellious in nature, and so you're the kind of person that a stop sign is kind of a suggestion to you. You're willing to fail. You don't intend to fail, but you're willing to. You know that that's part of the game. And then you tend to err on the side of begging for forgiveness than asking for permission. And so if that describes you out there, then you probably have this trait of risk taker.
Z, I gotta tell you this. Can I tell you my pro tip? He mentioned that I'm a terrible driver.
Oh, you're the
worst. He mentioned that
you're
an entrepreneur if you perceive a stop sign to be potentially a suggestion. Gino, I would like to confess to you a pro driving tip that I have been busted on 2 occasions. No ticket. Thank you to the officer. What I'll do is I call it when Gino, did you play basketball? Did you play basketball?
I did not.
Okay, well, Magic Johnson made this big up there in Michigan. You know, it's the no look pass, right? So what I do is if the traffic is where I don't want it to be, what I'm going to do is I'm going to signal and I'm going to go into the parking lot of the gas station and look as though I'm looking for am I looking for gas? I think I want gas. And you know, see the people who look for gas, but then they go, no, the gas is 2 cents cheaper 4 miles away.
Sure.
I act like I'm that guy. So I'm like, I know. I'll keep going. And I look away, but the whole time I know where I'm going. I'm cutting through that parking lot.
Oh, yeah.
But I look away. It's a no look.
It's a no look drive.
And I've been pulled over twice for this move. And the one time the officer pulled me over, woo, it's in the Hummer with the Kim Jong-un wrap on it. Oh,
it's beautiful.
And he says, do you recognize you're driving a Hummer with Kim Jong-un wrapped on the side of it? And I see you do this often. And I'm going, doing what? He says, the thing where you act like you're going to get gas, and then you don't get gas. I'm like, I'm indecisive. And he's like, get out of here. Stop doing this. That happened. That was a thing. So anyway, that's the move. I also do the shoulder move, Z. Whenever, it snows. Gino, does it snow a lot up in your region of Detroit, or are you in the snow-free zone of Detroit?
Oh, it snows. It snows.
I grew up in Minnesota, and you know how snow rules happen, where once it snows, people all of a sudden are like, stoplights, kind of a suggestion now, because it's snowing. Gino, does that happen up in Detroit when it snows like several feet or several inches? Do you have snow rules?
It doesn't get that deep, so no, I've never heard of that, so I have to say no to that.
Well, Z, we'll educate Gino. In Oklahoma, we have snow rules here.
Yeah.
When it snows, even
it's
an inch,
chaos.
People are going, well, I might not be able to come to a full stop, so I'm just not even going to try to stop.
Right.
So you just drive right through the red light if there's no other cars. And I've been busted doing that move with like an inch of snow. And sir, I'm like,
a Hummer.
In a Hummer, like the snow is a powerful amount of snow. He says, sir, do you know why I pulled you over? Like, yeah, I went through a red light. Well, why'd you do that? Powerful amount of snow, a lot of momentum. I'm going like 20 miles an hour. I got out of that too because I was funny. So okay, we continue. So we know about the traits of an entrepreneur, but some people want to learn more about this book. Where can they buy the book, or where can they learn more about your book if they want to get into all the essential traits?
Yes, well, all major retailers certainly, but the epicenter of all things Entrepreneurial Leap is my website, e-leap.com. You can certainly order it through the site. That will take you to the major retailers, but there's also 9 free tools, a lot of robust content that is free there on that website as well.
Now, in your book, you talk about 8 critical mistakes that entrepreneurs make. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tee up a mistake. And I'm going to tee up one of your mistakes, and then Z, after we interview you about it, Z's going to chime in with maybe a funny story about this. So Gino, tell us about this. Mistake number 1: not having a vision. An entrepreneur opens up a business; they clearly don't have a vision. Why is this such a big mistake?
Yeah, so it's a mistake due to lack of clarity, lack of communication, chaos, and so what you typically have is you've built this organization to a certain size where there's just no clarity. Everybody joined you because they fell in love with your passion. You wrangled them in, and everyone is just not aligned around a vision. And to the degree you have a vision, you will align everyone around that vision. You will get there faster. You will solve issues quickly, and you'll weed out a person or two that's really not in alignment with your vision.
Zulhan, you're an optometrist.
Yes,
and,
sir.
My wife is a beautiful lady. She started working for you at the age of 18 years old there.
Yes.
And,
I
dated
her creepy boyfriend came around.
Right, and I was able to wrangle her away. We've been married now 20 years. But you have, year by year.
No, that was you were the creepy boyfriend.
Oh.
No, sorry. Sorry.
Okay.
Truth.
Thank you.
Truth
Appreciate
bomb.
that. It's too soon.
Too soon. Sorry.
It's been 20 seconds.
Sorry.
Now, here's the thing. You, though, have helped me out for years. You have given
Yes.
my wife a wrong prescription. You are an optometrist.
Oh, yeah.
And you made sure
once
that
we
her
saw
vision
you,
is blurred.
Once we saw you, we had to blur that sucker
You said
up.
you should be
Oh, yeah.
seeing 20/20 now, ma'am. She sees about
Oh, yeah.
2100 right now.
Oh, yeah. On a good day.
What's the danger of not having a vision? You see business guys all the time not having a vision.
Well, it kind of cracks me up sometimes. A guy will, and I see this over and over and over. He'll have a little bit of a vision, open up his business, and then quick. I don't know if he bores. I don't know if she bores. I don't know what. And the next thing you know, they went from having a donut shop to now they're going to sell, sundry goods in the over here in the foyer, and then they're gonna open up a med spa.
Welcome to Al's
behind
welcome to Al's
donut
Garage
cooker,
and Donuts
you know?
and Med Spa.
And Med Spa
we do the
donuts
Botox
and sundries.
Sundries. You want to take a shower? We have a shower unit now available and a gym out back.
We'll open up anything you think you need. We'll
I know a
open
guy.
it up here.
I know a guy's the name of our store. I know a guy.com.
They just keep rolling to other ideas, and just when you think they got something kind of settled in, they're settled. They just seem so unsettled. You know, they're just like next thing you know, they're trying to do something else. You're like, dude, just stay in your lane and do what you were doing and do it with excellence. You know, I mean, perfect that before
do you want to
move
buy
on
a
and
replica of Ronald Reagan because we sell those too?
We sell those too. We have a clay model or one of those 3D printers. It's unbelievable.
It's out in the back. I know a guy.
I tell you what, you propped it up in your house.
Gino, you see
Reagan's
people like this, I'm sure, because you've done consulting and speaking and coaching. I mean, you've interacted with entrepreneurs for years. Do you see that where the entrepreneur just keeps adding on one more idea while never gaining traction with any idea?
Oh, for sure. I'm sitting here laughing because you're spot on, and then you're dipping into mistake number 6, which is not staying true to your core.
There we go.
That's exactly what happens. They start, trying to sell and be all things to all people and get away from what brought them, and unfortunately, they tend to go out of business or at least struggle and flatline forever.
So mistake number 1 is not having a vision. Now, mistake number 6 is not staying true to your core.
This just in
from our home office. I see that a lot with politicians. I see that a lot with business owners. Politicians, though, are the easiest ones to spot usually because they're like, I am in favor of capitalism. I'm down. This is me talking about it. I love it. I love it, Z.
Love it.
Free market.
I know.
You buy things.
Send me to the Capitol because I love capitalism.
That's what I'm into.
Yeah.
But now that I've been elected, I could see the merits of socialism, and that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah. I mean,
you see that a lot.
We all share. Yeah.
And we all see it. It's the pressure that makes you clarify your vision. Now, mistake number 2, hiring the wrong people. Gino, have you ever hired the wrong person ever?
I have. In my first business, that's where I learned it, and I got really good at solving that problem and did not make that mistake again in the second business.
Have you ever hired a person that had a magnificent resume and really, really was confident in their skills, but they ended up not being what you thought they were? Gino, have you ever interviewed the really good interviewing guy with the really white teeth and the great resume? It's like a polished resume. It's leather bound. His dad is a senator, and then he's just a disaster. Have you ever hired that guy?
Too many times. Well, I interviewed that guy. Fortunately, I was smart enough not to hire most of the time, but definitely made that mistake a handful of times.
Yeah, the leather resume, that was a tip. That's a
I have this is actually an audio tape, Z, of I think one of Gino's worst hires early on in his career.
Really?
If you give me a second,
How'd you get that tape?
Let me wrangle it up real quick.
How'd you get that tape?
Well, and then actually, no, this is Gino's personal assistant interviewing one of his worst hires. Gino, I'm going to play about 45 seconds of it, and then you can tell me if this was the actual audio, because I never know.
Yeah.
I mean,
you have so many.
Who are we to vet the audio clips before we play them? Here we go.
Exactly. Good call.
Here we go.
Oh, hello, Catherine. Good to see you. I didn't know you were dropping by.
You asked me to come over.
Did I?
Are you reading the dictionary?
You caught me. I like to break a mental sweat, too. Grab a chair. So, I trust everything's going
This guy interviewed well.
swimmingly with our acquisition of Average Joe's.
So far, yeah. I mean, there's a lot to do over there, so I should probably get back. That is a really interesting painting.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's me taking the bull by the horns. That's how I handle my business. It's a metaphor.
I get it.
That actually happened, though.
It actually happened.
All right. So, have you ever hired a guy like that? And what do you do for the listeners out there who've hired somebody who they thought they'd be the greatest manager ever? They claim to read the dictionary in their free time. They claim to literally take the bull by the horns. They bring in their own paintings of them doing so. What do you do when you're stuck with that guy?
Well, you don't hire him, and I want to go on record just to clarify, that was not me.
Okay.
Wrong clip.
But if you do get stuck with them, you're never stuck with them, and I think that's the takeaways. You can,
How do you fire people in Detroit? What do you do? What's the move? Is there a move?
Go ahead.
Yeah, well, here's what I would suggest, because that's the easy part. The way that this dynamic shows up for anyone thinking about taking their entrepreneurial leap is what tends to happen is that entrepreneur starts their business, reaches some level of success, sells a few things, generates some revenue, and they need a body. And so they grab the closest body to them, which is their brother, sister, significant other, mom, dad, aunt, uncle, throw them into the business. Business continues to grow, and they keep doing that. And 2, 3, 5 years into it, they find themselves surrounded by a bunch of people that really shouldn't be there. And so the point is, you've got to hire people that have your core values, hire people that have the skill set to do the job, slow hire, quick fire. And so once you realize you've got the wrong one, the firing part is easy, assuming they're at-will employees, and we're not going to get into the legality of that, but the firing part is easy. It's avoiding that mistake on the front end that almost every entrepreneur makes.
Now, mistake number 3, not spending time with your people. I think a lot of people believe in abdication, not delegation. They get it confused. They hire somebody who's the golden. See, this guy's he is the golden baby.
Oh,
this guy. You look at him and you say, "This guy's going to be the golden baby."
Oh yeah.
And your partner says, "The golden baby." No, this will be. Look at the golden baby. I don't even know what that means. Why are you saying? I'll tell you, he's the golden baby. He's the chosen one. And then you put him in a room and you don't train the golden baby, and you wonder why he's not getting it done. Talk to me about this.
Golden.
Why can't you just hire a golden baby and not train him?
Hence the name Gold Member.
So I have no idea where you're going with that, but here's what this mistake
Next two of us.
is the hard-charging entrepreneur with this idea, again, builds a company with people, and these mistakes all stem from my clients when they come to me, somewhere between 10 and 250 employees, having made all of these mistakes, and we're correcting these mistakes. And the number one issue I and we hear every single time is communication. And communication is just simply the root of it, is that entrepreneur is not spending time with their people. And the formula and remedy is a simple solution. It's meeting with your team weekly, meeting with your team quarterly, and giving feedback often. That will solve 90% of your communication issues overnight.
Do you have to schedule an actual meeting with your team on a consistent basis, maybe for those weekly meetings and those quarterlies, or do you recommend entropy and just sort of having an apathetic look at the world and just seeing if we drift into a meeting at the same time and place?
We 100% prescribe same day, same time, same agenda, every single week,
Preach it.
every single quarter.
Oh, can you say it one more time? I blacked out. It was so good. Say it one more time, please.
We highly recommend. Every client does this. Every meeting's got to be same day, same time, same agenda, every single week, every single quarter.
That right there is so profound because I've been doing consulting now since 2006, and I can tell you nothing is more frustrating, Z, than playing phone tag with a successful person because they don't answer a number if they don't know who it is, or they're always doing something productive with their time. So you miss them. They don't check voicemails. They call you back from their mysterious bat line, and you don't answer the phone because you don't know the numbers. And it just goes round. Have you ever played an epic game of phone tag?
Oh, yes.
Oh, it's just
so fun.
It just kills
love it.
I love having the weekly meeting at the same time every week.
Things.
Now, your meetings don't go on for 4 hours or 9 hours. Gino, how long is the longest that we should possibly have a weekly meeting?
90 minutes every week, max, not a minute more. You can't solve every issue. You just need to solve the most important ones, and the rest will wait till next week's meeting.
Okay. Again, this stuff we're covering right now is in your newest book. This is a great book, but you're also your legendary book, Traction, is also available. Talk to me about this mistake number 4 is not knowing who your customer is. Does that mean you're allowing people to buy things from you and you don't recognize their face? What does it mean when you say not knowing who your customer is?
So the issue here is that entrepreneur, that business is taking a buckshot approach to selling their wares. And so your marketing efforts, your sales efforts, your branding efforts, they're just kind of, like I said, taking that buckshot approach and doing a dragnet and dragging in whatever they can, when the remedy is knowing the demographic, geographic, psychographic, who they are, where they are, what they are, how they think, and targeting your sales and marketing efforts on them so that you have a very focused effort and you maximize all of your resources, time, energy, and money.
Can we talk more about golden babies?
I think we should.
I wish you would.
Here he is, ladies and gentlemen. It's gold member.
Hey, do you put golden diapers on them?
I have pro tips. Can I give you some tips, Gino? For about a decade, I think I've wanted to interview Gino Wickman here. This is sort of an answer to prayer. And so, Gino, I have some pro tips I want to give you, and feel free feel free not to implement them. It's fine. I mean, he's doing well. Things are going well here.
I mean, apparently, I think he's doing all right.
So, feel free to one up me. But these are my tips.
Okay.
One, I think moving forward, you should insist that people introduce you as Gino Wickman. Wickman. I think that sound.
I think it's
and I think
hot.
if you become the kind of man that would correct people that say Wickman, you go. For example, you met me for the first time today, and I would say, Gino Wickman, pleasure to meet you. And you could say, no, it's Wickman. It's like Prince, where Prince had that constant friction with everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Because people were like, hey, good to see you, Prince. And he's like, no, it's a symbol. You see what I'm saying, Z?
Oh, yeah.
Think about that.
It's hot. It's hot sauce.
Oh, yeah, I'm writing it down as you speak.
I mean, this could really create not traction, but friction.
Not to be silly, but I think you have traction with that.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I mean, your newest, and then your newest book could be called Friction: Keys to the Golden Baby.
I like that.
What do you think about that? What do you think? Friction, and people would go, He's written 3 books, 4
and then
books
you get
that
a
make
baby.
sense.
Kind of like they get a baby and they just spray paint it gold and they take a picture of it on the cover. I don't think that harms.
How many books have you written at this point, Gino?
This is number 6.
So if you wrote Friction, the Golden Baby, people would buy it almost like a mercy purchase. They're like, it's like some of Prince's music got kind of weird there for a while. Yeah. And people are going, I don't know if I even like this music, but it's packaged in a glass sphere of some kind
of gold.
So I'm going to buy the Golden Baby.
Here's the deal.
Friction.
I'm going to go.
Gino
Wickman. I'm going to drop that down a notch, Gino.
Okay, fine.
Clay always shoots. He's always swinging for a grand slam every time. Me, I'm good with base hits and just keep up the momentum.
You're a benevolent
right?
man. You're a kind of person.
So I think instead of doing a whole book cover on that, I challenge you in your next book to somewhere in there get the phrase "Golden Baby" somewhere in the book.
Golden Baby.
Golden Baby.
And we'll know it's for us.
That's your challenge. And it'll be just a little love nugget, and we'll have him shed a tear. We'll probably pop some champagne. And goes, we're somebody now.
You can use it in your perfect level 10 meetings. In your level 10 meetings, you can just kind of say, now, guys, as an example, a golden baby would do this. All right, we continue. So, Gino Wickman, you talk about here mistake number 5 is not charging enough. As an example, you didn't charge us enough to have to put up with the personal hell of being on this show. Talk to me about not charging enough.
That's a good point. It's an excellent point.
Yeah, so the classic mistake here is undercharging for your services. And so it's literally a psychological issue. It's an insecurity. And so almost every entrepreneur, when they take their leap, for some reason they charge less than they should. And most startups, they're literally a 10% price increase from being profitable or having a loss.
That's a good word.
And so there's two great disciplines here. First of all, there's a great TED Talk by Casey Brown who goes right to the psychology of this. But number 2, Dan Sullivan, one of my mentors, talks about when you're pricing, think about the number that scares you the most and then add 20%. And that will force you to kind of break through that insecurity. But it's just a common classic entrepreneurial mistake, and it's the difference between staying in business and going out of business.
And Gino, I want to add to that. I want to pile on. The other thing too is the drift. In other words,
the drift.
Cost goes up. You keep your.
You guys there? Did I lose you?
No, we're here. We just did a bomb.
Can you hear me?
What I was saying is, can you hear me, Gino?
Hello,
Gino.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Gino, you there?
No.
Gino.
Wickman.
I'm calling you back.
Wickman.
He's still there.
He's still there. He's there.
This is a fake.
He's there.
It's a head fake.
I think Golden Baby's got.
Hey guys, I'm back.
Are you back?
You're back? Oh, God.
I knew you
goodness.
offended him when you were talking about that Golden Baby. Z.
I know.
Okay, continue.
I thought he was going to hang up on you any moment. I
knew he was
knew it.
offended.
Passive aggressive. Bam. But I was piling on, Gino, and that is not only day one do you get aggressive and you price things accordingly, but also you have to watch the drift. In other words, there's a restaurant here in Tulsa, true story, and they had the best lasagna in town, and they had it priced accordingly. And then every time they got a new chef in there, he'd be like, I can make this thing a little better. Put a little bit more meat. I can make a little better. A little more better. A little bigger piece. You know, and pretty soon, they didn't realize, but what they were charging for the lasagna was actually less than what it cost them to make the lasagna. And everybody loved the lasagna. That's why you went to the restaurant.
It's
for the lasagna.
It's nice.
You said to yourself,
it's as good as a Gino Wickman book. It's nice.
I tell you what, that lasagna's so good.
It's beautiful lasagna.
I tell you what, I can't make it for that. I don't know how they do it.
How do you do it?
I mean, this is crazy.
Did Sneaks get a
They must buy in bulk or something. I don't know. It's just the best.
Gino Wickman would love it.
I want 6 orders to go, too.
It's not profitable, but I want a lot of them.
I want a lot.
Let's make a lot of them.
And I guess it's kind of like the truck driver that says I lose $1,000 on every run. They go, what are you going to do about that? He goes, well, I'm just going to get more trucks. I'll make it up and, you know.
Gino, this is a problem for people. Pricing is a huge problem.
Exactly right. That's why I'm calling it out before you take your entrepreneurial leap so you don't discover it 5 years in.
Now, Gino, do you charge money for your services?
I do.
Unethical. How did you figure out? It's unethical.
He's a pirate.
It's a pirate. He's a pirate.
He's a pirate.
He's out there plundering people. He said, I'm going to make a profit in exchange for goods and services that I offer. And I have a lot of people. Sean Copeland swears by your program. Peesh Patel swears by the program. Are you still doing the thing where you work with people for free forever, or what's your hot offer over there?
No, that's unfortunately not my business model.
I get it.
Do people, if people out there want to hire you, what do they do? What's the process look like? Or are you even available at this point? Because your books have sold so many copies.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not available, but the good news is we have 374 other EOS implementers that are available all over the world. So I can connect you to any one of them, certainly.
Okay. Now, let's talk about this. Mistake number, I'm going to go with mistake number 7. And I got some other questions I want to get into. Mistake number 7, not knowing the numbers. A lot of people, they go, I have a great product. Woo! Great lasagna. Woo! It's the golden baby. Woo! And then they say, I don't know if I make any money. Talk to me about the dangers of not knowing your numbers.
Yeah, here. And sadly, somebody that has all 6 essential traits typically is not great with numbers. It's actually a weakness of most visionary entrepreneurs. And so the beauty is it's a very simple remedy, because what's happening is these companies are flying blind, going with their gut, guessing that everything's going fine. The way you solve that, 3 simple things. Number 1 is look at the 5 to 15 most important numbers every single week. Number 2, look at a monthly P&L every single month. And number 3, manage a budget projected to actual every month. And if you don't know what those 3 things are, just implement it and you'll figure it out in about 2 months.
You know what I'm going to do here, Z, is I'm going to queue up. There's that show, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? And it kind of creates a suspenseful atmosphere. I'm going to queue up the music here. And what I'm going to do is we're going to come in rapid fire with questions for you, Gino, okay? We've got about 10 questions from Thrivers all over the nation.
All over.
And I'm going to fire out the question. And if you can give us the shortest, most concise answer possible, are you ready for the lightning round, sir?
Ready.
Okay, let me cue it up. Let me try.
I'm kidding. It's intense.
Here we go. All right. I think this is the right music. Here we go. Question number 1. When consulting with a business owner, how frequently do you need to have the awkward talk with them? How often do you have to have an awkward talk with them when consulting with business owners?
Every single session in the first year.
Really? Every single session. Okay, I got my music ready. Here we go. Next question. This is from a lady by the name of Amelia. What do you tell business owners who get bored easily? The ones that cannot commit to doing the same things day after day, week after week. What do you tell them?
Get good at it. Learn how to have fun with it. Stay focused.
Okay. Question number 3 from Luke writes, What do you say to clients that get stuck on website edits, updates that don't matter, products that they don't sell, things that don't matter? What do you say? What do you say to clients like that?
That one stumps me because that one seems obvious. Pull your team together, decide what needs to go, decide what needs to stay, make quick decisions, and go forward.
Where can people learn more? We have a listener who writes, where is the best place for our listeners to learn more about your Level 10 meetings?
2 places. Purchase the book Traction or go to eosworldwide.com.
Z, get ready for your tough questions. He likes to ask inappropriate political, geopolitical, religious questions, so get ready for that. Here we go. Next question. This comes in from Sean. Sean writes, what would you say to a business owner that does not yet see the value of accountability when working with a consultant such as the EOS team?
Well, number one, I wouldn't work with you because accountability is the foundation of the relationship with all of my clients. And I fear for your future and your people if you don't believe in accountability.
Next question from a thriver by the name of Sean writes, can you talk about the process of training business owners to prioritize the stuff that matters as opposed to focusing on the things that don't matter, like a golden baby?
So the approach that we take and I take is we work with the owner and their leadership team. And so those are the 3 to 7 people at the helm of the organization. And together, those 3 to 7 people need to list all of their priorities and then choose the top 3 to 7 for the next 90 days. And don't walk out of the room until you 100% agree on what those 3 to 7 priorities are.
Andrew writes, what happens when an employee does not do their action items after your Level 10 meeting when it's time for the follow-up 2 weeks in a row? What say you, Gino Wickman?
Rule of thumb, 90% of all to-dos should be complete every week. If you have an employee that doesn't do that, you sit them down, have a conversation, and that is strike 1. If it happens again, you sit them down, have another conversation, that is strike 2. If it happens again, that is strike 3, and you've got an epidemic, and it's time to make a people change.
Julia writes, how do you equip implementers, or how do you personally navigate the emotions of an artist/expert entrepreneur that thinks they know it all but does nothing?
Well, that one's a little more difficult. So we're able to solve that, and I'm able to solve that probably half the time. Some mini interventions, some group therapy in the sessions with the leadership team. The other half of the time, it's a deep psychological issue that stems back to when they were 7 years old, and they need about 7 years of therapy before they're ready to ultimately solve that issue.
Oof. Z, it's time for you to ask your offensive questions, as you often do. Z, your questions... Z is known to ask questions that are so offensive that our listeners, our guests, will just hang up. You know, it's happened. I mean, we don't have any audio of it. Well, we don't have any audio of it.
In theory, it could have happened.
It could have happened.
I know.
Okay, go ahead and ask any questions you want about Gino Wickman, America's golden baby of consulting.
Gino, if you could go back, if you get in the time machine, the DeLorean, go back 20 years and have a meeting with yourself.
If it could turn back time. Darn it. Okay.
What would you say to yourself?
Oof.
Oof.
What would I say to myself?
Yes.
I would say to myself, let your freak flag fly.
Whoa.
Lower your guard. Be 100% you, and don't apologize for it.
I love that.
Z, you know what I would say to my younger self? You want to hear? I pre-recorded it for today's show.
This is what I would say to my younger self. Return that? I don't know what.
This is what I would say to my younger self.
You know what they say? See a broad to get that booty yak 'em, leg her down or smack 'em yak 'em.
Smack 'em yak 'em.
That's what I would say.
That's about 20 years ago. That was about you.
Okay, 2 more questions for Gino Wickman. Gino Wickman, America's golden baby of consulting.
What's next for you, Gino? Are you on a beach somewhere in the winter?
On the beaches of Detroit?
A snowbird. I mean, are you what's next for you? You got a beach
buying
house
the Lions?
You're building a big beach house somewhere in the Caribbean. You can't tell us the exact location. And you're ordering a bunch of umbrellas for your drinks and all that kind of stuff. What's next?
Yeah, far from riding off into the sunset. I've got many decades of work left to do, but this next 10 years is focused on Entrepreneurial Leap and impacting 1 million entrepreneurs in the making over the next 10 years.
I love that. That's awesome, buddy. And if you say, listen, have you picked a time in the future where you say, you know what, that's my goal, and when I hit that age, I am rolling up the sleeves,
peacing out,
and saying, see you later, alligator?
Far from it. So this next 10-year goal will take me to 60, and then there will be another 10-year goal at 60, and another one at 70, and another one at 80, until I keel over. I'm going to die in the middle of a project.
I love that.
Okay, my question I have for you, this is the one I sincerely want to know the answer to, because this is one that I get asked this question so much by our listeners. They want to know, Gino Wickman, how do you organize the first 4 hours of your day? Like, what time do you get up, and how do you organize the first 4 hours of your day? Because you're a very productive man. How do you do it?
Yeah, so my advice to the world is, when you go to bed knowing your plan for the next day. Do not go to sleep without knowing your plan for the next day. And so what I do somewhere between 5 o'clock and 11 o'clock is lay out my next day. So when I wake up, I hit the ground running, as opposed to what most people do, getting distracted by emails, phone calls, etc., and let the world take over. And so those first 4 hours, I wake up at various times. It's not always the same time, but I wake up. I typically have a morning routine, which is some thinking, writing, and some light exercise. And then I hit the ground running with whatever that first item is on my list. My days are very, what's the word I'm looking for? Each day is a bit different. Some days I have a session. Some days I'm doing podcasts like this. But whatever that first thing is on my schedule, I attack that first and work my way through my plan for the day.
What's the average time you wake up?
On average, I would say 6:30.
6:30. That sounds like a fair time. Fair. You have at 6:30.
6:30.
And do you talk to a lot of people during those first hours of your day, or do you it's like more of just you time?
Yeah, I'm typically talking to people as early as 7:30.
Got it.
I would say, and it depends. If I'm driving, I'm always scheduling my calls during drive time, and so if I'm in the car at 7:30, I've got a call or two scheduled for that drive time.
Gino, I appreciate you being on the show so much, and I encourage every listener out there to check out your new book, The Entrepreneurial Leap. Do you have what it takes to be an entrepreneur? I really do appreciate you making the poor life choices needed to end up on today's show, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it was a blast. You guys are absolutely nuts, but it was a true blast.
We are flying the freak flag.
And listen, whenever you get that package delivered from probably UPS or I don't know, FedEx, open it quickly because it's probably going to have a golden baby in there. So just
golden.
so leave that on the
we
porch
went to the
long.
Golden Baby statue store.
Yeah.
It's an extension of.
It's not going to be a live one? I thought you could send him a live golden
It's an
baby.
extension of Z's Optometry Clinic. It's off in the back. There's a room where he sells the golden babies statues.
It's a
thank
big
you, Gino.
Thank you, Gino.
Thank you, guys.
And now, without any further ado, 3, 2, 1, boom!
Boom. Boom. Boom.
Why does this still keep happening to me? I don't know whose prayer I'm breaking into, but I'm breaking into somebody's prayer saying, Lord, why do I keep going through the same things over and over again? And the Lord sent me here to tell you the problem is with your default. Until you change your default, you will always go back to being who you were before because you have never changed your mind. You change your friends, you change your address, you change your phone number, you change the songs you sing, you change everything else, but you didn't change your mind. There's nothing as powerful as a changed mind.
Boom! Nothing as powerful as a changed mind. Boom! Better get yours, cause I'ma take mine. Boom! Leave them where they got if they ain't ready. Used to have a lot of homies, now they dropping like a Betty. I'm like, boom! We taking over, it's our time now. Boom! Oh, you ain't know, we about to thrive now. Big, overwhelming, optimistic, momentum, A-place. Hey, back, let me get 'em. Go get 'em then. Hurdle every obstacle, trying to do the impossible. Turned my whole life around, haters thought it was comical. Had to make some moves, didn't even seem logical. Quarterback to play, man, I had to call it audible. Drop back, stop that. Rearrange and switch it up. Only got one life to live, it's best that you go live it up. Failure ain't an option, ain't no way that I can give it up. Hey, knowledge, gon' pick it up. Nothing like your posse, look poppy, you cannot top me. They watch me and try to copy like Rocky, you cannot stop me. Hungrier than ever, we grinding all through the weather. We shining because we better get with us, leave out our cheddar. Once I change my mind, dog, trust me, ain't no going back. Coming for that top spot, I'm feeling like they owe me that. Time for us to level up, I feel like we've been holding back. Throw your hands up, say it with me if you know it, Dad. Boom! Nothing is powerful as I change mine. Boom! Better get yours, cause I'ma take mine. Boom! Leave them where they got if they ain't ready. Used to have a lot of homies, now they dropping like a fatty. I'm like, boom! We taking over, it's our time now. Boom! Oh, you ain't know, we about to thrive now. Big, overwhelming, optimistic, momentum. A clay, hey, back, let me get 'em. Yeah. Came a long way from where I used to be. Don't need to see life the way I used to see it. Old habits die hard, but you gotta leave them. If they ain't riding like a Harley, then you don't need them. You're cheering and you're clapping, I don't need that. Fake friends treat them like Fat Joe, make them lean back. Excitement, no vision, makes you blind, I can see that. Anything I think up in my mind, I can achieve that. I can make a million if I want to. I'ma keep it real cause I want to. Other women tryna holler, girl, I want you. And disrespecting wifey's what I won't do. Gon' do your dance, gon' do your dance. If you really wanna change, gotta have a plan. Even when they sit down, I'ma take a stand. Throw your hands up, say it with me if you know it, man.
Beliefs become your thoughts, thoughts become your actions. So be intentional about where your passion is focused. There's no hocus pocus. We only live once, man, and you know this. You can't press the rewind, but you can make a beeline to the next level like you're headed for the tree line. I was born in Minnesota, moved to Oklahoma, incorporated both into my rhymes. Now it's time to show you how a former stuttering student can turn out the raps with the lyrical miracle flow in the cash to match. Yeah, I'm imported, a Minnesota refugee, but I'm consistent as can be as I rap on hip-hop beats, bringing rappers and tax. Even though that I'm wise, I can play that funky music, but I ain't vanilla ice. Here we go, here we go, here we go, full steam. 3, 2, 1, dynamite on the scene.
Boom! Nothing is powerful as I change mine. Boom! Better get yours, cause I'ma take mine. Boom! Leave them where they got if they ain't ready. Used to have a lot of homies, now they dropping like a fatty. I'm like, boom! We taking over, it's our time now. Boom! Oh, you ain't know, we about to thrive now. Big, overwhelming, optimistic, momentum. Boom!
And the Lord sent me here to tell you the problem is with your default. Until you change your default, you will always go back to being who you were before because you have never changed your mind. You change your friends, you change your address, you change your phone number, you change the songs you sing, you changed everything else, but you didn't change your mind. There is nothing as powerful as a changed mind.
Hear the rest of T.D. Jakes' incredible, life-changing, and mind-altering sermon, Nothing as Powerful as a Changed Mind Today, by looking up T.D. Jakes on YouTube and typing in Nothing as Powerful as a Changed Mind. That is a lyrical miracle rap.
The number of new customers that we've had is up 411% over last year. We are Jared and Jennifer Johnson. We own Platinum Pest and Lawn and are located in Owasso, Oklahoma. And we have been working with Thrive for business coaching for almost a year now.
Yeah. So what we want to do is we want to share some wins with you guys that we've had by working with Thrive. First of all, we're on the top page of Google now. Okay. I just want to let you know what type of accomplishment this is. Our competition, Orkin, Terminex, they're both $1.3 billion companies. They both have 2,000 to 3,000 pages of content attached to their website. So to basically go from virtually non-existent on Google to up on the top page is really saying something. But that's come by being diligent to the systems that Thrive has, by being consistent and diligent on doing podcasts and staying on top of those podcasts to really help with getting up on with their listing and ranking there with Google.
And also we've been trying to get Google reviews, asking our customers for reviews. And now we're the highest rated and most reviewed pest and lawn company in the Tulsa area. And that's really helped with our conversion rate. And the number of new customers that we've had is up 411% over last year.
Wait, say that again. How much are we up?
411%.
Okay, so 411% we're up with our new customers. Amazing.
Right. So not only do we have more customers calling in, we're able to close those deals at a much higher rate than we were before. Right now, our closing rate is about 85%, and that's largely due to First of all, like our Google reviews that we've gotten people really see that our customers are happy, but also we have a script that we follow. And so when customers call in, they get all the information that they need. That script has been refined time and time again. It wasn't a one and done deal. It was a system that we followed with Thrive in the refining process, and that has obviously the 411% shows that system works.
Yeah, so here's a big one for you. So last week alone, our booking percentage was 91%. We actually booked more deals, more new customers last year than we did the first 5 months, or I'm sorry, we booked more deals last week than we did the first 5 months of last year from before we worked with Thrive. So again, we booked more deals last week than the first 5 months of last year. And it's incredible. But the reason why we have that success is by implementing the systems that Thrive has taught us and helped us out with. So.
Some of those systems that we've implemented are group interviews. That way we've really been able to come up with a really great team. We've created and implemented checklists. That way everything gets done and it gets done right. It creates accountability. We're able to make sure that everything gets done properly, both out in the field and also in our office. And also doing the podcast, like Jared had mentioned, that has really, really contributed to our success. But that, like I said, the diligence and consistency in doing those and that system has really, really been a big blessing in our lives. And also, it's really shown that we've gotten the success from following those systems.
Yeah. So before working with Thrive, we were basically stuck. Really no new growth with our business. And we were in a rut, and we didn't know.
The last 3 years, our customer base had pretty much stayed the same. We weren't shrinking, but we weren't really growing either.
Yeah, and so we didn't really know where to go, what to do, how to get out of this rut that we're in. But Thrive helped us with that. They implemented those systems. They taught us those systems. They taught us the knowledge that we needed in order to succeed. Now it's been a grind. Absolutely, it's been a grind this last year. But we're getting those fruits from that hard work and the diligent effort that we're able to put into it. So again, we were in a rut. Thrive helped us get out of that rut. And if you're thinking about working with Thrive, quit thinking about it and just do it. Do the action, and you'll get the results. It will take hard work and discipline, but that's what it's going to take in order to really succeed. So we just want to give a big shout out to Thrive, a big thank you out there to Thrive. We wouldn't be where we're at now without their help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Moore. I'm a pediatric dentist. Through our new digital marketing plan, we have seen a marked increase in the number of new patients that we're seeing every month, year over year. 1 month, for example, we went from 110 new patients the previous year to over 180 new patients in the same month. And overall, our average is running about 40 to 42% increase month over month, year over year. The group of people required to implement our new digital marketing plan is immense, starting with a business coach, videographers, photographers, web designers. Back when I graduated dental school in 1985, nobody advertised. The only marketing that was ethically allowed in everybody's eyes was mouth-to-mouth marketing. By choosing to use the services, you're choosing to use a proven turnkey marketing and coaching system that will grow your practice and get you the results that you're looking for. I went to the University of Oklahoma College of Dentistry, graduated in 1983, and then I did my pediatric dental residency at Baylor College of Dentistry from 1983 to 1985.
Hello, my name is Charles Kolaw with Kolaw Fitness. Today I want to tell you a little bit about Clay Clark and how I know Clay Clark. Clay Clark has been my business coach since 2017. He's helped us grow from 2 locations to now 6 locations. We're planning to do 7 locations in 7 years and then franchise. And Clay has done a great job of helping us navigate anything that has to do with like running the business, building the systems, the checklists, the workflows, the audits, how to navigate lease agreements, how to buy property, how to work with brokers and builders. This guy is just amazing. He's this kind of guy has worked in every single industry. He's written books with like Lee Cockrell, head of Disney, with the 40,000 cast members. He's friends with like Mike Lindell. He does Reawaken America tours, where he does these tours all across the country, where 10,000 or more people show up to some of these tours. On the day-to-day, he does anywhere from about 160 companies. He's at the top. He has a team of business coaches, videographers, and graphic designers and web developers, and they run 160 companies every single week. So Think of this guy with a team of business coaches running 160 companies. So in the weekly, he's running 160 companies. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's doing Reawaken America tours. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's also doing business conferences where 200 people show up, and he teaches people a 13-step proven system that he's done and worked with billionaires, helping them grow their companies. I've seen guys from startups go from startup to being multimillionaires, teaching people how to get time freedom and financial freedom through the system. Critical thinking, document creation, putting it into organizing everything in their head to building into a franchisable, scalable business. Like one of his businesses has like 500 franchises. That's just one of the companies or brands that he works with. So amazing guy. Elon Musk, kind of like smart guy. He kind of comes off sometimes as socially awkward, but he's so brilliant, and he's taught me so much. When I say that, like Clay is like, he doesn't care what people think when you're talking to him. He cares about where you're going in your life and where he can get you to go. And that's what I like him most about him. He's like a good coach. A coach isn't just making you feel good all the time. A coach is actually helping you get to the best you. And Clay has been an amazing business coach. Through the course of that, we became friends. I was really most impressed with him is when I was shadowing him one time. We went into a business deal and listened to it. I got to shadow and listen to it. And when we walked out, I knew that he could make millions on the deal. And they were super excited about working with him. And he told me, he's like, I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to turn it down, because he knew it was going to harm the common good of people in the long run. And the guy's integrity just really wowed me. It brought tears to my eyes to see that this guy, his highest desire was to do what's right. And anyways, just an amazing man. So anyways, impacted me a lot. He's helped navigate anytime I've got nervous or worried about how to run the company, or navigating competition and an economy that's like, I remember we got closed down for 3 months. He helped us navigate on how to stay open, how to get back open, how to just survive through all the COVID shutdowns, lockdowns.
I'm Rachel with Tip Top Canine, and we just want to give a huge thank you to Clay and Vanessa Clark.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan with Tip Top Canine. Just want to say a big thank you to Thrive 15. Thank you to Make Your Life Epic. We love you guys, we appreciate you, and really just appreciate how far you've taken us.
This is our old house, right? This is where we used to live a few years ago. This is our old neighborhood. See, it's nice, right?
So this is my old van and our old school marketing, and this is our old team. And by team, I mean it's me and another guy.
This is our new house with our new neighborhood. This is our new van with our new marketing, and this is our new team. We went from 4 to 14, and I took this beautiful photo. We worked with several different business coaches in the past, and they were all about helping Ryan sell better and just teaching sales, which is awesome, but Ryan is a really great salesman. So we didn't need that. We needed somebody to help us get everything that was in his head out into systems, into manuals and scripts, and actually build a team. So now that we have systems in place, we've gone from 1 to 10 locations in only a year.
In October 2016, we grossed 13 grand for the whole month. Right now it's 2018, the month of October. It's only the 22nd. We've already grossed a little over 50 grand for the whole month, and we still have time to go. We're just thankful for you, thankful for Thrive and your mentorship, and we're really thankful that you guys have helped us to grow a business that we run now instead of the business running us. Just thank you times 1,000.
The Thrive Time Show 2-day interactive business workshops are the highest and most reviewed business workshops on the planet.
You can learn the proven 13-point business systems that Dr. Zellner and I have used over and over to start and grow successful companies. I mean, we get into the specific steps on what you need to do to optimize your website. We're going to teach you how to fix your conversion rate. We're going to teach you how to do a social media marketing campaign that works. How do you raise capital? How do you get a small business loan? We teach you everything you need to know here during a 2-day, 15-hour workshop. It's all here for you. You work every day in your business, but for 2 days you can escape and work on your business and build these proven systems so now you can have a successful company that will produce both the time freedom and the financial freedom that you deserve. You're going to leave energized, motivated, but you're also going to leave empowered. The reason why I've built these workshops is because as an entrepreneur, I always wish that I had this. And because there wasn't anything like this, I would go to these motivational seminars, no money down, real estate, Ponzi scheme, get motivated seminars, and they would never teach me anything. It was like you went there and you paid for the big chocolate Easter bunny, but inside of it, it was a hollow nothingness. And I wanted the knowledge, and they're like, oh, but we'll teach you the knowledge after our next workshop. And the great thing is we have nothing to upsell. At every workshop, we teach you what you need to know. There's no one in the back of the room trying to sell you some next big get-rich-quick, walk-on-hot-coals product. It's literally, we teach you the brass tacks, the specific stuff that you need to know to learn how to start and grow a business. And I encourage you to not believe what I'm saying, and I want you to Google the Z66 auto auction. I want you to Google elephant in the room. Look at Robert Zellner and Associates. Look them up and say, are they successful because they're geniuses, or are they successful because they have a proven system? When you do that research, you will discover that the same systems that we use in our own business can be used in your business. Come to Tulsa, book a ticket, and I guarantee you it's going to be the best business workshop ever, and we'll even give you your money back if you don't love it. We've built this facility for you, and we're excited to see you.
Hey, I'm Ryan Wimpy with Tip Top Canine, and I'm the founder.
I'm Rachel Wimpy, and I am a co-founder.
So we've been running Tip Top for about the last 14 years, franchising for the last 3-4 years. So someone that'd be a good fit for Tip Top loves dogs, they're high energy, they want to be able to own their own job, but they don't want to worry about, that high failure rate. They want to do that like bowling with bumper lanes.
So you give us a call, reach out to us, we'll call you, and then we'll send you an FDD, look over that, read it, fall asleep to it, it's very boring, and then we'll book a discovery day, and you come and you can spend a day or two with us to make sure that you actually like it, make sure training dogs is something that you want to do.
So an FDD is a franchise disclosure document. It's a federally regulated document that goes into all the nitty-gritty details of what the franchise agreement entails.
So who would be a good fit to buy a Tip Top Canine would be somebody who loves dogs, who wants to work with dogs all day as their profession. You'll make a lot of money, you'll have a lot of fun, it's very rewarding. And who would not be a good fit is a cat person.
So the upfront cost for Tip Top is $43,000. And a lot of people say they're generating doctor money, but on our disclosure, the numbers are anywhere from over $1 million a year in dog training, what our Oklahoma City location did last year, to 25, 35 grand a month.
To train and get trained by us for Tip Top Canine, to run your own Tip Top Canine, you would be with us for 6 weeks here in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
So we've been married for 7 years.
8 years.
8 years. So if you're watching this video, you're like, hey, maybe I want to be a dog trainer. Hey, that one sounds super amazing. Go to our website, tiptopcanine.com, click on the yellow franchising tab, fill out the form, and Rachel and I will give you a call. Our Oklahoma City location last year, they did over $1 million. He's been running that shop for 3 years. Before, he was a youth pastor with 0 sales experience, 0 dog training experience before he ever met with us.
So just call us, come spend a day with us, spend a couple days with us, make sure you like training dogs, and own your own business.
Well, the biggest reason to buy a Tip Top Canine is so you own your own job and you own your own future, and you don't hate your life. You get an enjoyable job that brings a lot of income, but is really rewarding.
My name is Seth Flint, and I had originally heard about Tip Top Canine through my old pastors who I worked for. They trained their Great Pyrenees with Ryan and Tip Top Canine. They did a phenomenal job and became really good friends with Ryan and Rachel. I was working at a local church, and it was a great experience. I ended up leaving there and working with Ryan and Tip Top Canine. The biggest thing that I really enjoy about being self-employed is that I can create my own schedule. I have the ability to spend more time with my family, my wife and my daughter. So my very favorite thing about training dogs with Tip Top Canine is that I get to work with the people. Obviously, I love working with dogs, but it's just so rewarding to be able to train a dog that had serious issues, whether it's behavioral or whatever, and seeing a transformation, taking that dog home, and mom and dad are literally in tears because of how happy they are with the training. If somebody is interested, I'd say don't hesitate. Make sure you like dogs. Make sure that you enjoy working with people, because we're not just dog trainers. We are customer service people that help dogs, and so definitely don't hesitate. Just come in and ask questions. Ask all the questions you have.